Hello, I am so excited to share with you today a shadow box card. Now, I really don't know if that's what it's called or not, but that's what I'm calling it. I had seen it on Pinterest and I knew I had to I had to case it. So I'm going to go ahead and share that with you. We are just going to put the basics together. Remember that you can decorate this any way that you see fit. So let's go ahead and get started here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this card for you. And if you're like me, I was blown away. I wish I could show it to you like in person so you could see it, but that's not going to happen. So here we go. So this one here is just a belly band. It wraps around the card here. We put the message on the back because the inside of the card is actually like a shadow box. So just going to remove the belly band. Maybe. And I'm going to open it up, and inside is your message, as you can see. Now on this one I used the lovely I don't know what they're calling this, specialty paper, I think is what it was called, but it is just gorgeous. Unfortunately, it is at the end of celebration and this is sold out. But again, you can decorate this any way that you see fit, and then everything just folds back up again and opens back up. So really fun card. Today we're going to do the Christmas card. I'm going to change up the front a little bit, and again I'm going to show you the basics to make this card. Decorate it any way that you see fit. So let's go ahead and remove the belly band so you can see that. The message on the back here. And then I'm going to open up the card. And I've got the gal with the presents, the Christmas tree, and a little Christmas message. So fun. Such a unique card. I know if I received that in the mail, I would have flipped out. So I did case this card off of Pinterest, just so you're aware. And I will put the designer's name down below because I really don't remember. I was in such a hurry when I seen it that I just stopped what I was doing and I made this card. I know it's a bad thing, but that's what I did. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my scoreboard while I go over the measurements with you. Let me get rid of my glue pad here. So we're going to start with a piece of basic cardstock. This is going to be 10 by 8.5 inches. So you can go ahead and get that trimmed down. I am using Designer Series paper, which is the Whimsy and Wonder paper, and it is absolutely beautiful. I've already went through most of my pack, so I really can't share all the prints with you, but here is some of them. And then you flip them over, and again, beautiful prints on the back. So we are using that as well today. So again, you'll need a piece of 10 by 8.5, a piece of 1.5 by 9.5, 2 pieces of 4.5 by 1/2 inch, and then for the inside, this one is going to be 2 7/8 by 5 3/8. For your message on the outside of the paper is going to be 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then your outside panels, you're going to need 2 of those. Those are 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. For my inside sentiment, I just went ahead and cut some paper. This is actually 2 by 3 1/4, so this is 2 1/8 by 7/8. Okay, those are all the pieces that you're going to need. Now we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and score. So on your 8.5 inch side, you're going to score at 1.5 and 7. You're going to rotate that paper so you are now on the 10 inch side. You're going to score at 2, 3.5, 6.5, and 8. Okay, go ahead and remove that piece. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my belly band while I have the scoreboard here and score that. So on the 9.5 inch side, I'm going to score that at 2 inches. Oh, let me use my fat side of the stylus. 2 inches and 6 1/8. And then I'm also going to bring in my two 1/2 inch by 4 1/2 inch pieces. And I'm going to go ahead and score those as well. So those are going to be scored at 1 1/2, 2, 3 1/2, and 4. Do that for the second piece as well. 1 1/2, 2, 3 1/2, and 4. Okay, so we're going to put that aside for right now. I'm going to come in and fold and burnish my score lines. So I'm just going to fold and burnish real quick. Don't want to bore everybody. So yeah, this is not going to be like a mass-produced Christmas card for me, but it is going to be sent to a couple of very special people. The birthday card I created was for my best friend, but her birthday already passed, so she'll be getting it late. Oh well, better late than never, right? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and score. We're going to go ahead and cut our score lines. What we're going to do on this very first score line, we're going to cut on the inside all the way down to the second score line. And then in the second panel right here, we're going to cut halfway through. So we're just creating ourselves a little tab to open and close the box. And you're going to do that on all 4 sides. So let me do that real quick. Okay, with that done, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bring our paper trimmer in right now. And on that paper trimmer, we're just going to mark. We're going to put our paper in here and fold this first tab in. And we're going to line that up at the 1 1/2 inch mark. Okay, and I'm just going to make a little pencil mark and do the same thing at the bottom. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to score it. Make sure that you move your scoring blade up instead of the cut blade. And the easiest way that I found to do that is with your paper trimmer. It's just a lot easier in the scoreboard. And then I'm going to line up this edge right here with the track and this edge with the track. And just score. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And repeat it on the other side. And on this side as well. Okay, and we are done with that. So what we're going to do now is these tabs here are going to be folded to meet up in the middle. So this tab goes in and this tab goes out. Should get a nice close right here down the center. Go ahead and give it a nice burnish. Now what I do here is I just go ahead and glue my paper in the center here right away. want the bigger star on the top. And then I'm just going to pull in my Stampin' Seal. Brand new glue, so glue that in place right away. Now you can do whatever's easiest for you. You can stamp your sentiment and get everything on. You can put on your designer paper. Again, today I just want to show you how to create this card. I am loving, see, I'm bad today. It's always when you're wanting to show somebody something that everything seems to go awry, don't you think? I'm going to go ahead and stick that right there. And if you want to line this up, the easiest way to do that would be to just kind of close that up so you can eyeball it. So you get a nice even all the way around. There you go. You can go ahead and stamp your sentiment on the back if you want. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm actually going to do that in polished pink just so it pops up a little bit. So I'm going to use my polished pink and I'm going to put on there, "May the love of the season warm your home and fill your heart." Put that about right there. That way I can still sign it. And then I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to decorate it a little bit. So I'm going to bring in my, what do I want to use? Let's use mint macaron. Let's just decorate this a little bit. So I'm going to put a little Christmas tree at the bottom here. And this again is all in the Whimsical Trees stamp set. This stamp set is so fun. I've had so much fun. And it's not the typical colors that we're used to this time of year. It's pinks and light greens and what other colors are in there? Blushing Bride, Mossy Meadow, so a dark green like a hunter green and a softer blue. And then I'm going to put some ornaments at the very top of this, and I think I'll go ahead and do that in the Blushing Bride so that it matches. I'll just pull in my glue tab here because I'm actually going to take this off the top of the page here just a little bit, so I'm going to put these about where I want them and I'm just going to stamp it down. And there you go. Kind of gives it a little decoration on the back as well. Step those to the side and then I will go ahead and flip that over so I don't get ink everywhere, and I will glue that to the back of my card. And yes, I'm kind of a glue hog. I put a lot of glue on it. I know it doesn't need that much, but for some reason I just do that. Now when you're putting your card together, if you've put this on already, make sure that when you put your card together that you put your stuff inside the card, where it should be. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay my inside tree before I glue the box together. So I went ahead and cut that. Again, all of this is from the Whimsical Tree. Now this is the tinsel that comes in the tree. It's a die, and I put our adhesive backing on it before I die cut it. That way I don't have to worry about trying to glue all these little pieces. And you can just take that off and it'll stick right on. I had two pieces, so let me grab both of them. See how easy that is? You don't have to worry about the glue at all. And then you can just kind of line it up where you want it. I'm never precise. I'm not one of those people that like everything perfect. Kind of like it messy and, well, whimsical, like the set's called. So I just kind of put that on there where I want it. stick it down a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue it to the inside of my card base. And I will just use a little liquid glue for that so I can move it to where I want it to be. And when you're placing that, sometimes it may be easier if you have your box together, and it may not be. So for me, I've made a few, so I just kind of eyeball it where I think I'm going to want it to be. And then I'm going ahead and put that down. Now I'm going to put my box together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this piece in, and where we made these score marks here, I'm going to fold that back, and I'm going to fold this one back towards me. Bring them together, and then go ahead and give them a good burnish. Okay, and then the glue tabs that you created, they're going to be folded down. Now if they butt heads a little bit, give them a trim. I've noticed that I've had to do that on several of them, so just go ahead and give them a nice wedge. It always helps any type of box always open and close a little nicer. It don't have to be great big. And I probably should have just done that before I even started, so I'm going to go ahead and do both sides right away. That way we don't have any problems. Okay. And do the same thing on this end. I'm going to take that score mark, or that, and then score it down towards me. It's already scored. I'm going to fold it down towards me. And then I'm going to give it a good burnish. And then the glue tabs are going to go towards the inside. And if they do not line up, like mine is not, just kind of play with it a little bit. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit more. And I'm going to give this just a little bit of a trim. Sometimes you just got to maneuver things to make them work just right, you know. Not a big deal. Okay, so now we've got that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the glue on both sides on one side of the panel. So I'm going to put that there and that. Then I'm just going to fold this back like so, and just hold those two items, those two tabs for a few minutes until they get stuck together. Let's give it a little pressure, and then when you open it up, you got one side of your box created. And then we're just going to do the same for this side. So we're going to, and you can use tear and tape or anything. I just think that the liquid glue is easier right here for me. It gives you a little wiggle room in case you get off just a little hair, which is known to happen. Pull that over. Press it down, give it a nice press. And I'm going to fold that back. And then voila. Ooh, too soon, too soon, too soon. Let me squeeze it again. That's the joy in crafting, right? Okay, now let me see. That should be a better hold. There you go. So just when you first glue it, don't yank it like crazy, okay? Hi, Donnie. Next step that we're going to do is we're going to set that aside a little bit, and we're going to put together our I don't know what you call them, our mechanisms so that our card will fold. So we're just going to burnish all those lines. We're getting there, people. We're getting there. Glue on my hands. Everything's going every way. Oh well. If you don't get a little messy with crafting, then you ain't doing it right. Okay, so I've got them all burnished. Slow process, right? On this very first tab right here, we are going to go ahead and put some liquid glue on it, and then folding at the second crease line, so 1, 2, go ahead and fold that over, and then folding on this first crease line here, we're going to adhere those two together. Play a little music here and just press, give that a press, and then you should have created a rectangle, and it will fold and it will fold. So do that on both pieces. Look at all the glue I got on my hands. Gross. Okay. Give that a good press. Make sure it goes both ways. You are set to go. Now, I used the woman, let me see if I can find her, in the Delivering Cheer set. So this is fun because you can make it for fall, winter, Christmas, birthdays, whatever you want. Different bodies, different little arms. So I went ahead and stamped and colored her so we could get through it today, and that's who I'm going to put in our box. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your mechanism and you're going to place it inside your box. Now I always do a dry fit first because you don't want everything to get smushed when you close that box. So I want to make sure that I have my mechanism far enough up that I won't crush her legs, and I don't. So I'm going to move it back up just a little bit, and that way I can eyeball it and make sure I can get her in there, which that looks about right. So 1, 2, about on the third little tinsel hook there. We're just going to, again, using liquid glue gives you a lot of movement here in case you have any little oopsies. And then we're going to put it right into that corner. Right into that corner and give it a good press. Let it get adhered well. Don't get excited like I did when I glued the box together. Okay, so that is in there, and it might help if I did it straight, but then I'm going to fold it over. Do you see how I folded that over? Just kind of fold it over so I can put glue on this very first tab, just this little 1/2 inch tab right here. I'm going to put liquid glue on that, and the easiest way to attach that then is just to fold that box in right there and then press really hard so it adheres to that box, and leave it there for a minute again so you don't get super excited like me. And then I'm going to open that box, and then it should be attached good. And then I can go ahead and attach whatever item I want to put inside my shadow box. I love this set. I love to color to begin with, and it's just so fun. We had one a few years back similar to that for graduation. She had a sign and she had books. At the time was great because I had a pre-teenager who loved to read, and now she doesn't want to read anymore. So then I'm just going to kind of dry fit the next one in, but I forgot. I got excited and I got ahead of myself, and I did not stamp my inside sentiment. Now you could be done with that if that's all you wanted to do, but I wanted to put in it some a sentiment on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in back the polished pink, And the sentiment I'm going to use is actually from the Delivering Cheer, and it's sending love and Christmas cheer. I'm just going to kind of line that up. Perfect. And then I'm going to take my Blushing Bride, and I'm just going to glue the two together. Okay. Just kind of give it a nice even border all the way around. And that way I can bring this back in and dry fit this. And that I want it to go up a bit. So I'm going to kind of dry fit it a little bit harder. And that looks to be about perfect for me. So it's going to be towards the tip of the tree. And again, you want to make sure that your box will fold in wherever you put it. You don't want to... see why liquid glue is good? Okay, give this a big press. If you can take your bone folder. Just make sure it gets adhered really good. Again, fold that over. We're going to put glue on that inside tab. And then we're just going to fold the box back in and press it down real nice. Kind of hold it in place. Look at that. Didn't get that glued down very good. And now we've got our second mechanism in there. I'll go ahead and put glue on here. That way I can slide instead of on my sentiment. I can put it here and kind of get it positioned to where I want it. Making sure that will still fold in. It won't impede it in any way. And then I'm just going to try and get my chubby little fingers in there. And there we go. Now our box is made. We can fold it back up. Everything folds, pull it out, it comes out. Such a neat card. I just love it. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and create the belly band in the centerpiece. Now, to speed up the video, because it's already very long, I put together the centerpiece that I'm going to use. But again, this is 1.5 by 9.5. And it is scored at 2 6 1/8. I'm simply going to burnish on these score lines. I'm going to close this back up and wrap my belly band around. Now you may have to pull this just a smidge tighter, which you can do even if it's scored. I've had to pull it a smidge tighter. And the one thing I will tell you is that you want the longer piece on the inside and the shorter piece on the outside. That way, when you glue it together, however you decorate the front, this seam will be hidden. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue here, and I'm going to put some glue here. And then I'm just going to bring those together. Make sure you keep it nice and even. You don't want glue on your card. You don't want it so tight that you can't move your card, but you don't want it so loose that your card just pops up and falls over. So you can still see, you can still move your card. And then I went ahead with the Whimsical trees and I created this piece that I'm going to lay on top of it. Again, just these are all dies. These were a couple of stamps in there. And the greeting is from Penguin Place. So just had a little fun with it. Again, I can use a little bit of Stampin' Seal right on the front to put my tag on there. Again, I just really wanted to show you the basics of how to make that shadow box and you can decorate the front any way you want. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. See the difference there? And then here is the one for my best friend. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you need any supplies or you have any questions, always feel free to message me, give me a call. Love to hear from you. Guys, go out there and have a happy crafty day. Bye-bye for now.